Good morning. 16th of July already. Thought I'd have a little walk this morning. We were out last night, so a few beers. Need to blow off the cobwebs. So I'm taking a little walk down the canal before we get started. And it's good to see the canal boats are back in town. That means the pubs should be quite busy. As long as the sun's shining. They do a pretty good trade, and obviously all our pubs along the canal side. It's pretty incredible. The last few weeks have surprised me, actually. Yeah, we had the Folk and Boat Festival, but you know, on top of that, just a consistently good level of business. Busy few weeks since the last episode. Sorry again. I try to do one every week, but sometimes it tends to be, you know, every 2 to 3 weeks, doesn't it? So apologies. I'll try and make them faster in future. But yeah, busy few weeks. Bloody hell, what is going on? So yeah, yesterday was Liam's funeral, which I mean, nobody was looking forward to, were they, honestly? It was super sad, but honestly it was a celebration of his life, and a really remarkable man. Music, videos, photos, some eulogies which were, I couldn't have done it, honestly, I couldn't. His mum's eulogy was just incredible, honestly. So, and some high quality industrial language to lighten the mood. So I'm glad I went, and rest well, Liam. These are the buildings that I passed a while ago, actually. Remember I said make a great pub? There's obviously some naughty boys who've managed to get access to the building up there, who will be on YouTube this week. And smirking at me out the window. So yeah, very sad, but I think his family are moving forward now, and you know, my condolences and best wishes to them all. Layla has settled right in now. I think we're all agreed she doesn't like me. She loves Sarah, she loves Elliot, but in my case, I'm trying to work it out. I just think she thinks I'm a dick and she doesn't want to be my mate. So, smart girl, right? We took her into a fenced-in play area, not far from where we live. It's actually in Wheelock, behind the vets. If you're from around these parts, you may have seen it. You can pay a few quid. It's fenced in, dead safe. There's slides and tunnels and things for them to play with, and balls and poo bags everywhere. And she absolutely loved it, to the extent that after our time had finished there, we couldn't get her. We couldn't catch her. It took us 10 minutes to catch her. We just met John and Jenny on their narrowboat. Just stopped to chat because they saw that I had the camera in my hand, and there was a fly past, which I hope I captured, a fly past by a Lancaster bomber, and I think there's been a Spitfire as well, though I didn't catch that one. So yeah, we just stopped for a chat. She asked me if I'd been taking pictures of the planes, and I just told her I was doing this vlog, and they've just told me they have just walked back from the Newton Brewery Inn, where they've been drinking Murgy Straight. And then they met the guy that brewed it. What a weird coincidence. And we are approaching the Newton Brewery Inn. I'm inclined to pop in for a little Swifty. Would that be wrong? So, busy week, as I said. Let me share with you here the first half of the week in the next clip. And I'll meet you at the brewery, just up there. I'll show you this canning machine, which we finally got it to perform. Another Monday, another flight to Munich. LH, oh, a bit windy. LH 2505 or 1? 5, I think. On this platform is a largely unused platform and line, and this one goes up to Middlewich, where the brewery is, and into Northwich and beyond, and it's been closed for passenger use for, I think it was the beaching cuts. When was that? 50s, 60s? Before my time anyway. But they kept it open for freight, so it's a perfectly usable railway line with no passengers on it whatsoever. There's a campaign to get it open or reopened, the Mid-Cheshire Rail campaign, I think it is. You'll find it on social media. The problem is there's no stations, so they've got to build stations. And a lot of the land's been sold off, so they're probably not in necessarily the right spots if they did get around to building them. But this campaign's well underway. I think they're going to do it, but it's just cash in it. But that would help me get to the brewery. They're not going to do it just for me though, are they? But you know, certainly there's a lot of people that are having to drive across Cheshire to get to work when they could just jump on this. Olympia Park, Munich. And these three devils are going for a run in 35-degree heat. Well, two of them anyway. Andrew here's had the right idea, and he's not going to do it either. And I should see from my shirt, neither am I. We're just going to keep the beer cool while these guys run around 6 kilometres around Olympia Park. And hopefully come in with a time which is not too shabby. So we've just got to find the start point, which we're all meeting by the swimming pool over here, so we'll wander around there. 30,000 people here. It's called the B2 Run. It's a charity run sponsored by, well, Erdinger Brewery for one. So let's get to the start point and we'll have a look what's going on. And I'm ready to cheer them on with a beer. Finishing line. Finishing line's down there behind, well, you can't really tell what it's behind. Behind those orange little tents. So they come out the tunnel, across the finish line. I guess they're probably halfway round about now. I've had a second beer, a giant hot dog. Oh, sorry.
What was it called? A hot dog. What's it called? Bratwurst.
Oh, bratwurst. Of course it's called a bratwurst. And a giant hot dog, also known as bratwurst. And now we're waiting for them to come back. And the horrible part of this is when they finally cross the finish line, they've got to contend with these steps to go all the way back up. Look at some of these guys coming up. They're absolutely dead on their feet. And I'm still at the top, full of ale. Wonderful. At least they get a beer when they finish. Look down there, the Erdinger stand. They've got forklift trucks moving crates around. That's how much beer's being consumed down there right now. Lovely. Good morning. Munich Airport. 6:10 a.m. and I should not be here. I should be 5 a.m. at home. I should be sat tucked up in bed. However, we were about to leave last night, and unfortunately, we're sat on the plane. We're strapped in, ready to go, and captain comes on. Due to storms north of Munich, airspace is closed, so get off. And if you head to the Lufthansa service desk, they will rebook you onto the next available flight. Well, sounds okay. Except every flight's deboarding, right, at that moment. There are thousands of people in that queue, and I knew it would be like that. So I jumped on the app and I rebooked. The first thing they offered me was a train to Augsburg, followed by a train to Frankfurt, and then flights from Frankfurt to Bremen, Bremen to Brussels, then Brussels to Manchester. What could possibly go wrong with that itinerary? So I just stayed on the plane and jumped on the app while everybody was heading for the service desk and basically jumped the queue. And I feel very guilty about it, but I am on the 8 a.m. first flight out, and I'll be home in time for a late McDonald's breakfast. So I've lost the evening, but made the best of the time. Down to Munich with the team, bit of a lasagna, a few beers, got my head down, 8:30, 9:30 local time, up at 4:30, jumped on the train, got here, brilliant, easy peasy. So yeah, and to be honest, I'd rather have been in my hotel bed than bobbing around up there in those skies, because it was horrendous, the weather the last few days here. Super hot when we arrived, but just mad storms everywhere. Right, I need to find some breakfast. So I've found food, it's down there. However, that's the Schengen area. We're in solitary confinement upstairs. You can't get in. There's one vending machine with a falafel wrap. Prison food. I did find a little cafe here with she sounded Polish, but Eastern European certainly, lady, who very politely told me, closed, go away, 15 minutes. There she is. Oh, I can't really film anyone, GDPR, damn it, I'm in Germany, forgot. Anyway, the unidentifiable Polish lady, go away, 15. So I can just watch people eat down there. And I am on board. That was a bit of a tricky one because this replacement flight, well, it's not a replacement flight, it's just the next scheduled flight, is overbooked. I guess because they've bumped a lot of the people that couldn't travel last night onto it, and they were asking for volunteers to take some cash and bugger off to Frankfurt. So I was hoping and praying that I actually had this seat, which I do. So we should be off in a minute, fingers crossed. All the pubs along the canal side here should have my beer on. It should be no excuse. Tell them. We've got 3. We should have 9 or 10. There's the big lock. Come on, the big lock. You know you want to. You'll make money, I promise. Right, we'll sneak in the back way. We are back at the brewery. I want to show you this cannula machine because finally we've cracked it. Now, I watched a few videos from other people on this machine, this model and the semi-automatic model, and they refer to, you know, a little bit tricky to set up. It's a nightmare to set up, honestly. 17 hours altogether before I managed to get it done. Ridiculous. Every, you know, evening and weekends fiddling with the bloody thing. So we've done it now. The mechanism, I've got another bit of film somewhere, so I'll probably use that because I'm not taking these screws out again. They've been in and out a bazillion times now. But the mechanism is there's a central chuck which sits in the top of the can here, and then this can rotates at high speed, and rollers come in at the side, and they're shaped to form the edge of this can lid over. Can I get it to focus on that? Yes. Okay. So you see the can, and then the lid goes on, and then you can see how that looks different to a seamed can. This part here will be rolled over and then over. And the way it works is one roller comes in from the side here and starts the fold off, and then the other roller comes in from the other side and really finishes the roll and flattens it down. And you're working with super tight tolerances, and so it needs to be. I understand that. But the problem with this machine is when you then try and lock those rollers in with the lock nuts, it's plus or minus 2 millimeters, and throws out all the settings that you've spent hours putting into are lost. The simplest possible way to set this machine up is trial and error. You put your can in, or you put your can on, you take a look at where the jaws, where the rollers are sitting, and then you tighten it up. Then you take your measurements with feeler gauges and see if there's anything close to what they've recommended. And in my case, 17 hours later, we've done it. So I'll show you how it works. We fill the can with water first, and I'll show you the rest of the gear in a second. So just using water for demonstration purposes, we have a can of water. We'll place the lid on the top, onto the lifter, pulling the handle, making sure that it's concentric. They pretty much are all the time now. And it's locked in. The sides of the can are quite taut. And then we turn this on and we do a forward for the left seam and a backwards for the right seam. Give it a wipe. One seamed can. So that is the cannula. Now, slightly more complicated is the Duofiller. Not the device itself, very simple. As long as you plug the right power supply into it and not the 6-volt one that I had hanging around. Oops. And then wondering why nothing was working. Well, it was working, but it just wasn't powering the solenoids. So don't do that, folks. Anyway, so what we have got, I'll talk you through it bit by bit. What we have got is keg of Mergy Straight. With the coupler on the top, we've got gas going in here, CO2, and we've got beer coming out here. The beer line basically goes into this input on the maxi cooler, comes out of that one, goes over there, goes in that one, and then comes out of that one. So we've got two loops through the maxi cooler, which is currently at 0.4 degrees. And what I'm getting out of that is this beer, which is sitting at about 10 degrees, maybe 11 degrees, so it was when it came out. By the time it's gone through these two glycol loops, it's not even glycol actually, it's water inside. But by the time it's gone through those two loops, it's coming out at 4 degrees, which is Duofiller's recommendation for the correct temperature for filling. So I'm happy with that. So the beer comes out, it splits into two lines, one for the left side of the machine, one for the right side of the machine. And these are both now set to fill a 440ml can on the timer mode. So, it's not perfect yet, but it's almost there. So I'm going to put an empty can on, whoops, onto the platform. I'm going to hit the button, which will give us 6 seconds of gas purge, if you can hear that. And then 14.6 seconds of fill time, which should take us right to the brim. It might just spill over a little bit. But then what I'm going to do is weigh it on these previously zeroed scales. It says minus 12 because it's the weight of an empty can. Oh, maybe a little bit short, that one. Let's just put it on the scales and see what she looks like. 425. Dang it. So we'll change the setting on the Duofiller, which is currently 14.6. Let's give it 14.8 milliseconds. Return. On there. Press the button. Press the button properly. So we're from 14.6 to 14.8, so an extra 0.2 of a second. This might overflow. That's quite a long time. Kinda. $4.34. Let's change it to 15 seconds this time. Return, done, confirm. Empty can on the thingy, press the button. Bingo! That'll do. And that is how you fill cans. So we've just got to see how many of them are leakers now. So we're going to store them somewhere, try not to drink them, because that would be wrong, and see if we get any dribbles. Oh, and by the way, that is the way not to fill cans. See you next time, guys.